Welcome. Today we're doing a deep dive into Genesis, chapter 23. It starts right after a death, Sarah's death, and moves pretty quickly into this really interesting negotiation.
That's right. Sarah dies at 127. It happens in Kiriath Arba, that's Hebron, in Canaan.
And Abraham, he mourns her, weeps for her, but then he sort of rises up and gets down to business, you could say. He needs to deal with the practicalities.
He does. He goes to the local people, the Hittites. And his opening line is pretty striking, isn't it?
It really is. He says, I am an alien and a stranger among you.
Think about that. Even though he's clearly a person of substance, he starts by acknowledging he has no inherent right to their land.
Right, no entitlement. He's asking for something specific, a place to bury his dead. He needs to buy some property.
And their response is kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's quite something.
They call him a mighty prince among us. It's this huge sign of respect. And they immediately say, look, take the choicest of our tombs, bury your dead. Nobody here would refuse you.
An incredibly generous offer, especially to someone who just called himself an outsider.
Totally. But Abraham, well, he doesn't just take it.
No, he bows, shows respect, thanks them. But then he has a very specific request.
He does. He asks about a particular spot, the cave of Machpelah. It belongs to Ephron, son of Zohar, and it's right at the end of his field.
And the crucial point, he insists on buying it. He says he wants to pay the full price.
Yeah, he's very clear about that. Not a gift, a purchase.
So why do you think that is? They offered it free? Was he worried about strings attached? Or was it something else?
Well, that's one of the big questions here, isn't it? Maybe it was to avoid any doubt later on. A gift could maybe be disputed, but a public purchase?
Yeah.
That's solid.
Okay, that makes sense, like establishing clear title.
Exactly. Or maybe dignity, not wanting charity for burying his wife. But perhaps the biggest thing is establishing a real legal claim. God had promised the land, sure, but this was Abraham securing a peace through accepted human means.
Right. So the negotiation itself, it takes place publicly at the city gate.
Which was the place for this sort of thing, you see. The city gate wasn't just a way in and out. It was the center for legal stuff, business deals, everything witnessed by the elders, the community.
So Ephron responds there in front of everyone, and he also starts by offering it as a gift.
He does. He says, no, listen, I give you the field, I give you the cave in it, go ahead, bury your dead. Sounds very generous again.
Almost casual, maybe. But Abraham sticks to his guns. He bows again and says, no, I will pay the price for the field. Please, just take the money from me.
He really pushes for the sale. He wants that formal transaction. And only then does Ephron name a price.
400 shekels of silver.
Right. And he adds that little phrase, what is that between me and you? Which, might soften it a bit, but the price is stated out loud in public.
And Abraham doesn't argue or haggle. He just agrees, takes the silver, weighs it out immediately.
And the text notes specifically, he weighs it according to the weight current among the merchants.
Why mention that detail?
Ah, well, that's about legitimacy. Currency wasn't always standard coins back then. Weighing out the silver, using the recognized standard weight that merchants used, made the whole thing transparent, official, undeniable.
Especially with everyone watching at the gate.
Precisely. It leaves no room for doubt about the payment or the transfer.
Yeah.
So the whole process is public, formal, and follows the proper customs.
Okay, so the field, the cave, even the trees on the property near Mamre, it's all formally deeded to Abraham as his property, witnessed by the Hittites.
Yes, the transfer is complete, legally sound.
And then only after all that, Abraham buries Sarah in the cave, the one he just bought fair and square.
Exactly. So the field and cave are officially his, secured from the Hittites as a burial place.
When you step back, it's quite a moment.
It really is. You have Abraham the alien establishing his family's first tangible, legally owned piece of the promised land. It wasn't a gift from God appearing out of nowhere. It was secured through human law, full payment, public witnesses.
Anchoring his family there.
Yes, securing an absolutely undeniable claim. It's this fascinating intersection of divine promise and meticulous human legal practice.
So think about this whole exchange. The initial generosity, Abraham's firm insistence on paying, the public nature of it all, the specific price, the weighing of the silver. What does this careful legal purchase tell you about Abraham, about the Hittites, or maybe just about how critical clear ownership and witnessed agreements were back then? Something to ponder after this deep dive.